Right, this is Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Welcome to the Political and Current Affairs Prog Show on this very platform. It is exactly 6 minutes gone past the hour of 9 on the AM side, and you have found Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. My name is Uduak Daniel, and today is October 14 of 2025. Now, presidential pardons in Nigeria, a delicate balance of mercy and justice. Now, the recent decision by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to grant presidential pardons to 175 individuals, including those convicted of serious crimes as murder, drug trafficking, and corruption, is indeed becoming the talk on the lips of quite a number of Nigerians and family members as well. Now, the presidential pardon should be said and put in the right perspective. It is a constitutional power vested in the president of Nigeria, and it is aimed at promoting mercy, justice, and national reconciliation. However, though, its exercise often raises questions about the balance between mercy and accountability, particularly when high-profile individuals or those convicted of serious crimes are among the beneficiaries. Now, President Tinubu's recent pardon has reignited this debate. Critics are questioning the timing and criteria for these pardons. And the move is not also without precedent, as past presidents have also exercised their constitutional power to grant pardons. Now, if you recall, in 2013, former President Goodluck Jonathan granted clemency to Dipriye Alamaseha. Oh yes, a former governor of Bayelsa State, while former president and late president now, President Muhammadu Buhari, pardoned some convicts in 2022. Yeah, and that included former governors on humanitarian grounds. However, the current pardon is raising concerns about potential impact on the fight against corruption and crime in Nigeria. Critics are already arguing that the decision undermines the rule of law and sends a wrong message to potential offenders. Now, let's also try to understand the process that brings about the pardons. Now, the president's power to grant pardons is outlined in sections 175 and 212 of the Nigerian Constitution. And this process involves the Presidential Advisory Committee on the Prerogative of Mercy. And this committee is headed or chaired by the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. And this committee recommends pardons to the president. So it is not the president as a sole person who goes about looking for who to pardon. No, there is a committee, and it is called the Presidential Advisory Committee on the Prerogative of Mercy. The Attorney General and Minister of Justice stands at the chair. He's sitting at the chair of that committee, and they recommend pardons to Mr. President. There is also the National Council of State, where the president consults with a Council of State before granting pardon. So there is a process to it. Now, the decision to grant 175 individuals, including Miriam Sanda, which is already making the rounds across Nigerian newspapers from yesterday up until today. She was sentenced to death for murdering her husband. Now, we have Nweke Francis Chukwueze serving a life sentence for cocaine trafficking. Right? We had Dr. Nwogu Peter, 67, serving a 17-year jail term for fraud. And then posthumously, we saw pardons given to Ken Saro-Wiwa and the Ogoni Nine, executed in 1995 for alleged murder. Sir Herbert Macaulay, nationalist leader convicted by British colonial authorities in 1913. Major General Maman Jia Vatsa, executed in 1986 for alleged treason. And other beneficiaries are 75 young men, mostly aged 18 to 40, serving 3-year sentences for illegal mining. All right, former lawmaker Honorable Farouk Lawan, jailed in 2021 for corruption. Drug offenders, white-collar convicts, and foreigners. All right, so let's connect with our guest, who is in the person of Comrade Gerald Okachi. Comrade, good morning and welcome to the show this morning.
Yes, a very good morning to you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. It feels good to have you already. Now, the decision has been met with mixed reactions of the president's pardon, with some Nigerians are questioning the timing and criteria for the pardons. Some critics are arguing that the pardon undermines the rule of law, justice, and accountability, especially when you look into the severity of the crimes committed by some beneficiaries. I mean, Mr. President had granted pardon to a Miriam Sanda, killed her husband, sentenced to life in to murder, sentenced to death actually, but she's been granted pardon. Nweke Francis Chiweze, sentenced to serving a life imprisonment for cocaine trafficking. And we have seen Dr. Nwogu Peters, 67 years old, serving 17-year jail term for fraud. And we have also seen, amongst others, the likes of King Sarawiwa and the Ogoni Nine, the Herbert Macaulays, the Major General Maman Jia Vatsa, and the one that is probably really bringing Nigerians to talking amongst the others would be former lawmaker Honorable Farouk Lawan, jailed in 2021 for corruption, and he has also been given some pardon. Drug offenders, white-collar convicts, and foreigners, I mean, they've all been granted pardon. And notable Nigerians, Atiku Abubakar, former vice president, criticized the pardon, describing it as reckless and morally questionable. Inibe Effiong, a human rights lawyer, faulted the pardon, stating that it would embolden criminality and weaken the country's justice system. Peter Obi, a Labour Party presidential candidate, questioned the decision to pardon individuals convicted of drug-related crimes, and civil society organizations and groups, they've described the move as a national disgrace and an affront to Nigeria's anti-drug campaign. How would you describe this move by Mr. President, keeping in mind that it is within the purview of his constitutional rights?
Thank you once again for having me. And while we look at some of these pardons, that is one too many, that almost every successive government must indulge in it. It is important we also remember that today is a D-Day for us, because there's only one thing that's trying to give us hope apart from the political dilly-dally that we see our leaders normally do, and that is football. Today we'll be having our final shot to see if I thought we'll make it. Right. So I pray we succeed. Then if you look at the 175 pardons by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration, and you say, okay, you want to possibly look at the pros and the cons, and then begin to, analyze it in the proper shape. You will have a lot of mixed feelings, because no matter whatever decisions taken, there will always be mixed feelings, those who are for or against it. But then if you take a critical dissecting of it, you understand why people are, raising their voice or contributing their voice. The total beneficiary of the pardon is, I think, 175, and they cut across a lot of things, including the one given to the late activists, that is posthumous pardons like Ken Sarawiwa and Ogoni Nine, of which you can also maybe look at it as a way of delivering justice in the past. That is, if you get to that angle.
Right.
They look at the clemency angle, where many drug offenders, inmates with reduced terms and death row, communications and many offenses group like drug offenses, possession, importation, trafficking, unlawful mining, fraud, theft, corruption, violent crimes, murder, culpable homicide, manslaughter, armed robbery, pipeline vandalism, terror, adjacent crimes, and some high-profile political, pardon. Many beneficiaries had served long periods and shown good conduct, and of course obtained vocational training and of course remorse with what they have done. Some will look at it as maybe on a humanitarian ground, in form of a rehabilitation angle. Many inmates, just as I said, who have shown remorse and completed their rehabilitation program. Releasing them can reduce overcrowding and support reintegration. And of course, it can show symbolic national reconciliation, like the one given to Ogoni and Saro-Wiwa, it can be seen as addressing the past injustices, and then you look at the political gain, because we are approaching the election period, reduce the prison population, fewer death row cases, and showing executive willingness to use prerogative of mercy in select cases, which is very questionable, which is giving room to a lot of things that we shouldn't be condoning or even accepting in our society. For example, this shows mixed feelings among law enforcement agencies, especially those who risk their life to ensure that criminals are apprehended and brought to book. In some cases, in some of these cases, police officers, NDLE officials, some of them lost their personnel in pursuit of these cases. Some of these criminals kill official authorities of all those security agencies and many others, and then you are granting pardon to them. People that they feel that maybe justice has been served, at least to show that their efforts are not in vain. It gives a very wrong signal, which has already provoked public outrage in many quarters. And then you look at the selective justice in a form of politicization, granting clemency to high-profile or political sensitive names, while other detained figures continue to languish there. In case of Farouk, before Farouk was convicted, many see Farouk as a symbol of integrity, and because he was a vocal voice, speaking as if he can match his words with actions. But then you see it fall into trap with Otedela, and we saw what happened. You understand? To show you that this is a critical political, Nigerian politician that we hit in the bush and come out and be asking who is hitting. Then you look at the public safety concern, commuting sentences for people convicted of violent crimes or reducing terms raises fears among victims and communities about accountability and the safety. And pardons like this as a way of weakening rule of law narrative. If pardon criteria are not transparent, trust in institutions may erode, and especially where prosecutions and detentions are politically sensitive. These kind of things are what is even raising some concerns in some areas. If you look at their crimes, some are cocaine import, trafficking, some are marijuana, tramadol, heroin, possession and dealings. Some are unlawful mining, which is a very serious offense with regards to our national interests. Some are fraud, corruption, theft, pipeline vandalism, murder, culpable homicide, and just as you use the case of Marian Sanda. Marian Sanda have been convicted for killing the husband.
Right.
And of course, currently now we have a similar case, which has been on since 2021, that recently, sometime this year, a judgment was passed by trial court, which personally, as activists, I condemn that, because the empirical evidences surrounding the case shows contrary to what the judgment says. And that one is also languishing. That is the case of Peter Nwachukwu, the husband of the late singer Osinachi Nwachukwu, who was accused of culpable homicide, that is beating the wife to death, whereas the autopsy report shows entire body. There's no fracture, there's no torture, there's nothing. That woman died of cardiac tamponade, which is cancer. Now you look at these kind of things are what is raising concerns for people that are still facing trial. As of today, you can hear the reports in town that there's organized protests to demand for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu.
Right.
And of course, if you watch in recent time, you will see even a video circulating where about many communities, is five local governments coming together to sign peace accord with terrorist criminals, bandits. It goes to show that they had I don't know. It's painting us in a very negative way as a weak. I don't know whether to call it a weak government, or is we are even weakening the institutions that are supposed to project us more. You look at the case of Nnamdi Kanu. Many observers contrast the generosity towards the convicts with the continued detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of IPOB, who faces terrorism, treason charges, and whose detention is politically charged. That contrast feeds narratives of selective justice and political targeting. Because if actually the government of Nigeria, especially the federal government, are genuine with regards to their pursuit of insecurity, and you see the level of insecurity that is growing almost on a daily basis in the areas of the southeast, and you both the governors and the leaders in that zone have said that if you release this guy, this thing can drop drastically, and you continue to hold him. Even when appeal courts and other courts have said that this guy, the condition upon which you bring him back is not right, you should release him and they discharge him. You continue to hold him and bring up more charges and go back into trial. It doesn't help matters. He continues to spend money on security, whereas this singular act we can reduce insecurity at least by 70 to 80% in that region. The money can be channeled into more dividends of democracy than what we are facing today. Security officials are losing persons. People in that area are losing persons. Every Monday, they have economic losses in the way of a sit at home. You compare it to the carrot and stick dynamic that subnationals are approaching now. Hence, they have seen a federal government willingness to pardon and, of course, dilly-dally or be in bed with maybe known criminals. Subnationals are following suit, which can be seen with what happened in Kakume talks with Bakori, Kankara, Funtai, Kafu, Malufashi, areas of Katsina, where you see criminals coming to what they attack peace accord with AK-47, RPG, and other sophisticated weapons. It goes to tell you that some of the renewed hope they're supposed to give us strength to continue to pursue for a better Nigeria continues to decline with some of these actions. The risk, seen in random or politically motivated actions, continues to, give impression that the justice system is something that is either you are strong, you are willing, you are capable. If not, you will continue to struggle and struggle and struggle. This undermines victim trust, in peace talks or maybe in the presidency. And it could weaken local buy in disarmament. That's what I think.
Yeah, comrade. Now, this pardon was not expressly the president's thoughts alone, because there was a presidential advisory committee on the prerogative of mercy, and it is chaired by the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. The committee recommends the pardon to Mr. President, and then the Council of State is also there, where Mr. President consults with the Council of State before granting pardons. So when we say, when we talk about these things and we say that it's undermining the judiciary and all of that, it's almost an oxymoron, because we have the the Attorney General himself and the Minister of Justice as part of that committee. Now, it also takes us to the place of our presidential pardons. Now, this is not particular to the pardon by Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Our presidential pardons from past administrations, past presidents, are they supportive of elitists? Are they elitist in nature?
Yes. If you say that, you are not far from it, because we saw that with Goodluck, pardoning his former boss Alemesia, and subsequent government doing similar, especially when it has to do with politics, and which I simply see as unfortunate. Pardoning is something that is done by almost every country in the world, but there are systems and modus of operation when it comes to, pardoning, and then the committee set up, especially led by Attorney General of the Federation. Honestly speaking, I see it as one not being too sincere.
Not being too sincere?
Yes. Why I say so is this. Last year, around August last year, 2024, Nigerian youths and Nigerian citizens, Nigerian masses went on the streets demanding end to bad governance.
Right.
In August. Many people were arrested. They merge both people they get from different states with those in Abuja, children, underage, they put everything together and they started suffering them to the point that almost many of them almost get to the point of having kwashoko without clothes, and some of them are still suffering different kinds of sickness, infections, that's as we talk now. Now, because of the global shame, that wickedness, had on us because of goodwill Nigerians who are legal practitioners who videoed what happened in court, where they brought malnourished children without clothes to court for trial, underage, for that. The president, in order to save his face, because they want to use it to silence decent voices and possibly, to put us in perpetual suppression. The president quickly directs the Attorney General of the Federation to release all of them and withdraw all charges. But as I talk to you now, we still have over Abuja 11. Many of them, their accounts were frozen. Some of them, their items are still seized, their ID card, their certificates, their POS. Those that are doing business, we are crippled. And from that moment, the president announced, it becomes selective. Even subnationals who couldn't stand by their citizens use it as a political gain and start organizing jamboree welcome. As we talk now, those Abuja 11 that are still facing the same trial the president have directed Attorney General, their trial have not commenced. They have adjourned the case more than 6 to 7 times. Anytime you go to court, they will tell you court is not sitting. But the following day, the court will sit. When you have, in the same court that handle Natasha case, when you go to high profile issue where they have interest, you see the court appear. It goes to show that.
So you're saying it's selective.
That is what it is. That's what I'm trying. I'm just trying to give. I can give you up to 5 or more different examples.
All right. Before that, let's go take this call very quickly. Hello. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning to you. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello.
Hello, sir. I can hear you.
Yeah. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Abuja.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from. My name is Monday.
All right, talk to me, Monday.
Please, I want you guys please to help me.
Monday, I wish we understood each other on this one, though. But let's get back to the discourse. Now, you can also be a part of the discourse this morning as we look into the matter of the presidential pardon in Nigeria. Delicate balance of mercy and justice, as we saw President Bola Ahmed Tinubu give state pardon to 175 individuals, saving them from whatever sentence that they have been meted. Right, the number is 0907 353 0044. 0907 353 0044. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. My name is Sayud Azdan. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
How's the rain? How's the weather? God
I
bless
know.
you.
Thank you.
My name is Baby Blessing. I greet our guest.
Right.
He always spoke very well. God will bless him.
Yeah.
If we can have many people like this, Nigeria will be changed. You know, issue of Nnamdi Kanu and issue of no, we not take law of our head in Nigeria. We have justice. We know this our government where we is. They get people, particular people where they share, where they love, where they say even though you kill, your fear be forgive. Now, let me tell you what is for now. We are not a small children again. It's 5 last month, right? Now we are still there for warfare. I want to know, this is not the kind of way they arrest, put for custody today. He carry gun, no carry gun. They say he talk. And the talk where he talk, he not cause to pass. And what I want to ask, the person that he arrest this man put for prison today, put for where he did today, the person don't die. Is it say our president no get right now? This say our president where we get, he no get right to release Nnamdi Kanu. Even though he no get right to release Nnamdi Kanu, where the person where arrest this man he don't die? Why they still keep her for there? Is it me say that they share this man? Than if they release the whole world will collapse? No. We are begging our government, our politicians, even though they are people, even though they have hand to put Nnamdi Kanu there, it is a time now to release that man. We don't see people now when they carry gun, they come out, and our government bargain with them. They still they pay there. And if somebody did there, we want Nigeria to be okay, but they still put her there. Is it normal? Is it okay? It's not okay. Now no one made the people rule. Now no one made the people get their freedom. But it be all this thing. But we are calling ourselves, we are one country in Nigeria. So no say we dey do partial. We dey do partial, no good. Even though God himself is blessing with us. Please, let our president release this man. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Appreciate BB Blessing right there. Just whilst we are still ruminating on that thought with BB Blessing, we see this message coming from Terkimbi Hundu, my dear friend, too, all the way from Nasarawa State. And he says, I greet your guest. I think our former president in Nigeria exercised the same rights to grant pardon to convicted persons, but not like this one granted by Tinubu. For example, Jonathan granted his former governor boss convicted of stealing Delta State public funds. I don't think Tinubu has chosen chose all the beneficiaries, but Aso-Rock cabals, he says. I wonder why criminals like Anini, Evans, king of kidnappers, Shakal, are not among the beneficiaries. I want to say that Nnamdi Kanu is not convicted by the court and can't be granted pardon, as people continue to mention he should have made the list. I join my voice with other well-meaning Nigerians to call for Kanu's release. Terkimbi is saying that. Right, but let's get back with you, Comrade Gerald. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Now, you heard what a family member or family members are saying already in view of this, and it brings to limelight the fact that a large number of Nigerians are beginning to interrogate these pardons, questioning the selective nature of justice in the country. While some see the pardons as a gesture of mercy and a step towards national healing, it does seem as though others are very concerned about the implications for justice system and the rule of law. I mean, one of the concerns raised is that the pardons may be a precursor to future pardons for high-profile politicians who are currently facing trial or investigation. Now, there has been some talks such as the likes of even the Godswill Akpabio, the Senate President, has been, indicted one way or the other. Adams Oshomole, Godwin Emefiele is already there. Yahya Bello is there. Others who have been accused of various crimes may be hoping for similar treatment in the future. And as the case always is, when they finish their tenure and they're not holding any political office anymore, they say the immunity clause is taken out, and you start seeing the EFCC at the time would come, after them. And you start seeing the case drag for so long. I mean, how do you even imagine Farouk Lawan's case has dragged up until now, even after being convicted and given the judgment? I mean, it's still in the list of pardons. I mean, Nigerians are saying, could this also mean that is this why some politicians are very emboldened, in stealing, misappropriating funds, embezzlement, and all whatnot? Because it is believed that, hey, if you can drag it for just a little bit, another administration comes in, don't worry, you'll make the list of pardons and your sins will be forgiven.
You see, sometimes you look at government playing games with the mind of the citizens. Among those pardons, there are ones that you can say they are on merit lists, that you can actually hit your chest and say, yes, they deserve this. You can give the government all the thumbs up, all the accolades and applauses, that as many as you can. You look at the likes of Macaulay, who's foremost nationalist that pursued independence that we are enjoying today, and how the white colonial masters try to gag him. But then there are names you will see there, you will know that without being told. They just use those merit ones and hide these ones under it to mix it. Whereas it's just like somebody pursuing save rats when the house is on fire. The case of Nnamdi Kanu, which in few days will be on the streets, I will join Showore and others, to demand his release on the 20th. Omar Shasoya Sorok, because enough is enough. It's an avoidable issue that is coming up.
But he's not convicted now.
Hold on, I'm coming.
Yeah.
He's not the first person that has faced similar situation. El Zazaki faced similar situation when they continue to detain him, try him from one place to another. The wives, even the children died. Members died. And you see, they continue to hold that guy. Almost every month, you see their people on the streets of Aba protesting peacefully before it turns violent. And something they would have done to avert issues, they continue to delay it. People died, the journalists died, even the Deputy Commissioner of Police died, some police officers died. Honestly speaking, I don't know how we have a government that waits until things get damaged before we do the needful. At the end of the day, they release that guy. You see peace return. Nnamdi Kanu, if they tell you hundreds of millions of naira, I'm telling you, hundreds of millions of naira, they make budgets for anytime they are sending him to trial in that court, I think Justice Omotosho's court. If you go through that federal secretariat, there's no level of security person you know see mounting everywhere. If you have another business you be in court, they will not allow you to go inside to file a process or do anything because of trial of one man. Something that can easily be handled in a political way, everybody will be giving applause. We decide to extend it to make it more catastrophic, do a lot of damage as big as more damage as we want to do before we begin to come to a sense of reasoning. Argument they are making that he was released in 2017 or thereabouts, and he jumped bail or thereabouts. But nobody is talking about the python dance they took to his house, where tens of persons lost their life.
So you're saying it should be pardoned. That's what you're saying. It should have made the list.
I didn't get the question.
Are you saying it should have made the list?
Of course.
That is the political solution. You bring whatever he's saying. You can use superior arguments to quell whatever ideology is pushing. You bring him to round table, bring experts, psychologists that will sit down with him, even if it takes 1 month to be discussion. Yes, we have heard your call, and maybe so things you want it to be in the constitution, maybe things like referendum, or maybe, but we are look at what we are doing, and they think we do this with what we are doing, we can achieve A, B, C, D. You use superior arguments to win people like that. Just like one of our family members said, you didn't see him with gun. You didn't see him with AK-47. You didn't see him with and perhaps why he's facing what he's facing is because he didn't radicalize his movement. He's using his words. If Nnamdi Kanu was to be seen with RPG, maybe the kind of discussion we are having now is not what we'll be having. We saw when the Niger Deltas were agitating because of genuine agitation, because of the way that federal governments have treated them. We saw the kidnapping of experts, busting of pipelines, and we saw how they were treated. That even one of them that are still alive, like Asare Dokubo, can go to Asobin and they stand in a coat of arms and be issuing press conference. Perhaps because this guy was trying to use it. Honestly, this kind of things is giving us wrong impression and ideas. If people are to wake up tomorrow to carry out one agitation, they will decide to radicalize it. If, as of today, bandits will be seen on video with others going for peace talk, it goes to tell you a lot of things. That sometimes these kind of things we are doing on radio, pushing for a better Nigeria, sharing solutions, continue to put spirit, soul, and energy together to see what we can do about our nation. It appears like it's not working. Maybe those in authority are not listening.
All right, so let me get you back, in the discourse, in the main discourse proper, right? Does this mean to you? Can you say that the president exercising his constitutional right is a total abuse of power? Is that
we have
abuse of
seen
power?
a lot of we have seen in this year in view. We have seen a lot of abuse of power. For example, earlier this year we saw it was reported Senator Adams Oshomole had issues with airline operators, and we saw how they tried to do propagation and to bring different narratives to their own case. No serious query to him, or maybe actions taken, because if you, UD, or me try similar thing, maybe we'll be facing a trial either from DSS or from Kuje or from Suleja. Another notable Nigerian who was reported to be one of the close allies to the president who sings for him, blocked aeroplane from move flying.
Come on.
He was given ambassador. A young lady tried that. She was torn to pieces.
And also given ambassador.
That because of the cries of the people.
Okay.
If people did not rise and lend their voice, she would be in prison by now. A copper wrote that promises were made on paper. Most by they have not seen it come to reality with regards to Alawi. They nearly even expel her. The next we hear now that she's on extension. That tells you.
But she insulted the president as a person. She insulted President Bola Tinubu as a person.
Is this not a crime? UD, tell me.
Comrade, are you condoning insulting the
tried to use this to hold on, please, UD, hold on. There's no living thing, apart from even human being, that does not face insults. Insult is one of the things that propel great people. If President Bola Tinubu, was concentrating on insult, it would first serve as a distraction. He wouldn't get to the point where he is today.
Right.
It's part of Jonathan. When Jonathan was there, they called the wife hippopotamus. Are you not aware? As a serving president,
Right.
they call him a drunkard. How many did he arrest? In a democracy. So let us not begin to give these rulers, capitalists, room to continue to suppress and oppress people.
So there is also an argument
they
that
are hiding under cybercrime to find a way to, suppress decent voices and make people to be subjected to fears and what have you. It shouldn't be so. And we must not allow that.
So what exactly are we up against, Comrade Kachi, with this entire discourse, the pardons and the kinds of persons that were given pardons, that merited, so to speak, these pardons?
Well, if you look at the pardon, which comprises of about 175 persons, of course, our president have exercised his authority as enshrined in our constitution. It contains defensible humanitarian reconciliation elements like rehabilitation, crowding down, symbolic posthumous pardons, but also it fuels legitimate concerns about selectivity, public safety, and the rule of law. Concerns made sharper by the continued detention of a high-profile political detainee like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and by the ongoing negotiated peace deals with bandits in northern region like Katsina, where clarity on accountability versus leniency will determine whether those accords hold. There are no perfect arrangements all over the world.
Right.
There are no perfect decisions. But then you weigh the pros and the cons of every decision you are making. If out of 175 persons, I use you when we started, you made mention of Miriam
Sanda, yes,
who was reportedly who was convicted for killing
her husband, multiple times,
husband.
And the family is already lamenting the decision for her pardon.
I'm coming.
Yeah,
I'm coming, and there are empirical evidence to that fact.
Right.
And you come to another person that is already facing, have been convicted, but they are on appeal, like Peter Nwachukwu, who was publicly condemned to have killed the wife, which I joined in condemning, until I went closer to observe the proceedings. To face the record, I had to even get one of our lawyers to get a record of proceedings. I read through all the trials so far. I discovered that 75% of it are hearsay. Pure hearsay. The accused of domestic violence, we are not registered as they conducted the entire pathologies at the National Hospital. Conducted very thorough autopsy and came to court and tender it and explain what killed the woman as cancer. That there are no traces of torture, fracture, or violence on the body of the woman. Meaning that if anybody can wake up any day, that is why we talk about jungle justice. We kick against it. Anybody can wake up to any day and tag this person, thief. If care is not taken, they will kill you. It becomes selective. If you see a genuine thing, okay, for example, I made mention of Abuja 11. Where the same president directed the Attorney General of the Federation to withdraw all charges, and you continue to keep these people, frustrating their life. If you want to face trial, you want to use them to scare people from coming out to protest, start a trial. Not every time they go to court, the judge will not be there. But if the following day there's a high-profile case, the judge will appear. It's not possible. Things like this makes one to begin to, lose the little hope we have for our nation. Things like this make even the ones that are more exposed to continue to face dark matter syndrome.
So what
It doesn't help.
what do we look at?
Things like this continue to make people to look us in a bad light.
How do we move forward then?
How we move forward is that we must do things that if you weigh the pros and the cons must be higher than the cons. If you must take a decision, if you must embark on something, like now you see, majority of Nigerians are asking that they should release Nnamdi Kanu. Almost all the 5 governors from that zone have come. Traditional rulers have come. Release that guy, hand it over to them. You can do that with a condition. You can have a seat and bring superior argument to whatever he's pushing to the people. And not by keeping him because you have the power. The money that we use to provide evidence of democracy, we use it in form of pursuit of security. We must be seen to embark on projects or actions that are tantamount to whatever we preach. And not the one you push today. By the time you begin to analyze it, you see that the cons are more larger in number than the pros.
All right.
Because what they use, they find certain pros and they will mix it up with things and they present to the public. If you talk, they will present you with the pros. But if you look behind the pros, you see that the cons are more greater in numbers, in percentage, in rankings, in ratings than the pros. That's what we are pushing.
All right, comrade.
And that's the way forward.
All right, comrade.
Let's do it that there are no perfect arrangements.
Yeah.
Whatever arrangement they are making, they should ensure that the pros are greater
Higher than the
the cons.
cons. All right, comrade, I wish we could go further. Time is not on my side this morning, but I really appreciate your thoughts. I mean, I think it's going to be an ongoing conversation already, and family members as well as yourself can also join the conversation across social media platforms because the truth must be spoken to power, and we will not stop doing that. But appreciate your time with us, though, this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Right. Can't go any further. Want to say a big thank you to each and every one of us for being a part of this. And I know time is not also allowing to take so much of your calls, but you can go to have a playback across social media platforms, Facebook and YouTube precisely, for an audio-visual radio experience that you can count on. And until we come again with yet another political discourse tomorrow, my name is Udwak Daniel.